the F word. You may have heard this, pro wrestlers don't like using the word fake. And this is due to how real the consequences are for being a pro wrestler. Your health is always at risk. Every wrestler suffers injuries, and most compete while never being fully 100%. Every move performed in the squared circle is a risk, but some are far more dangerous than others. From across the world of wrestling, across all the different styles, wrestlers have used maneuvers that can cause so much damage if they don't go right. We look at 10 dangerous wrestling moves. Number 10, chair shots to the head. As WWE went into the PG era, a lot was done to clean up the violent images that had been a part of its presentation for years. This resulted in things like banning blading and bleeding on television. Another major change was another part of the PG era, concussion safety protocol, and that included banning chair shots to the head. Chair shots to the head were commonplace during the Attitude Era and parts of the Ruthless Aggression years, but some cited these things like Mick Foley, for example, taking 11 consecutive chair shots to his head unprotected in 1999 in a single match as things that were simply passé, out of date with current acceptable circumstances. Unlike other moves on this list, it was regarded as a good decision by a majority of fans, while you still have those people that just say, I need to see someone's head get scrambled. Number 9, the Vertebreaker. Shane Helms, aka Hurricane Helms, popularized the Vertebreaker, a move that he safely executed during his years with WCW. However, this was during a time when WWE superstars were larger on average, making some within the company skeptical on how safely Hurricane could execute this risky move. Wait, you couldn't use that move in WWE, but you could use it in WCW, but I thought WCW was where the big boys play. Also, it was a variation on the generally feared move, the piledriver, a maneuver that WWE had stopped doing in general outside of the tombstone from The Undertaker for the most part. And that's probably why Seth Rollins only used it as a one-off against AJ Styles at a live event in 2016. Oh, we can't do that on TV, can we? Number 8, the Burning Hammer. Invented in the 1970s by Kotetsu Yamamoto, the Burning Hammer was popularized by Japanese icon Kenta Kobashi. The nature of the move's violent landing has resulted in WWE putting it on its banned maneuver list, reportedly, a decision made when former WWE superstar Tyler Rex tried to make it his finishing maneuver. Interestingly enough, Rex claims that John Cena pushed for the move to be buried because it was too similar to his finisher, the Attitude Adjustment. Whether or not that's true is unclear. Number 7. The Buckle Bomb. Perhaps you should have seen this coming, particularly because 2 noteworthy injuries have been tied to the Buckle Bomb with Seth Rollins. Sting suffered a severe spinal cord injury, forcing a match to be stopped early at the Night of Champions pay-per-view in 2015. Finn Balor became the first Universal Champion, but the Buckle Bomb he suffered from Seth Rollins also caused a shoulder injury, forcing him to relinquish the title the next night. It was reported that Vince McMahon had thought of banning the move for a while, but when Nia Jax hit a botched Buckle Bomb on Kairi Sane in 2020, it was the straw that broke the camel's back, leading to WWE to reportedly ban the maneuver for good. Number 6, the Poison Frankensteiner. Scott Steiner popularized the Frankensteiner back in the day, a Hurricane Rana off the top rope, but leave it to the new kids to make it even more dangerous with the Poison Frankensteiner, a reverse Frankensteiner done from the top turnbuckle. It's a high-risk move to say the least, with the person receiving it landing on their head. Yeah, I don't know about that. It was brought out as a one-off at NXT TakeOver Brooklyn in 2015 when Bayley performed the move on Sasha Banks in their iconic match. The bump didn't look pretty, which is perhaps why it's never been used again. Whether or not it's banned, we don't know. Whether or not they should do it, I say no. I just don't need to see people do that. Number 5, that sit-down piledriver. Sit-down pile drivers were a lot more common in the 1980s and 1990s in in-ring competition, but the most infamous use of this dangerous move happened at SummerSlam 1997 when Owen Hart hit a sit-down pile driver on Stone Cold Steve Austin. The awkward execution caused Austin to land on his head and suffered a serious injury that resulted in temporary paralysis. Thankfully, Austin recovered and would go on to become one of the biggest wrestling stars of all time. But the injury from that day would linger, causing his career to be cut short in 2003. CM Punk used a sit-down pile driver on John Cena in 2013, but it looked bad enough that we never really saw that move again. Number 4. Triple H's old version of the pedigree. Triple H's face-planting pedigree isn't considered unsafe by any means. That's perhaps because most fans never noticed he adjusted it as the years went on. Earlier, Triple H didn't unlock his opponent's arms early enough, making the landing risky. One freaky example can be seen in 1996 when he hit a pedigree on Marty Garner, although there hasn't been a similar version of this since. To prevent anyone from getting their neck or head hurt, WWE banned this variation, resulting in Triple H making it safer to perform as the years went on. Number 3. Brainbuster. The Brainbuster suplex is a move that is highly popular across the pro wrestling landscape. WWE superstars like Coco Beware and Eddie Guerrero have utilized it themselves. However, WWE at some point was quick to get rid of the Brainbuster, as the landing can potentially lead to head and neck injuries, with the potential risk of concussions being present as well. Given how strict WWE has become over the years with concussions, it makes sense that the Brainbuster is a no-go. Number 2. The Shooting Star Press. The highly flashy Shooting Star Press is a maneuver that has been in and out of WWE for some years. The most popular example of it going wrong was at WrestleMania 19 when heavyweight Brock Lesnar incorrectly executed the move, landing on his head, leading to a scary concussion. Reportedly, Vince McMahon was not a fan of the move, and he forced Paul London to not use it as it would lead to others following his example. They eventually made the exception for Evan Bourne, aka Matt Sydal, since he was just so good at hitting it. Number 1. The Punt. Randy Orton being evil and running up and kicking people in the face like they were a football was a big part of WWE in 2009, which is almost why Orton legitimately concussed Vince McMahon during an angle. Orton managed to convince McMahon, reportedly, to bring it back when he returned as the Legend Killer during the pandemic era in 2020, revealing that the ex-CEO and WWE chairman at the time trusted him to hit it safely. It's worth noting it's not something we're going to see all the time, but when Orton is kicking a prone opponent in the face, you know it's getting serious. What do you think is the most dangerous maneuver in wrestling? Get into the comments below and let us know what you think. And subscribe to Sportskeeda Wrestling for more videos just like this, with those notifications on.